one of India's most young and dynamic chief ministers, an inspiration for young leadership, youth-led leadership all across the country, the Honorable Chief Minister of Goa, Shri Pramod Sawantji, Bharat's cultural icon, whose life, legacy, and work is an inspiration for eons to come for young of Bharat. Padma Vibhushan, Manya Sansad, Sonal Mansingh ji, the man behind the MIT School of Government, Bharatiya Chhatra Sansad, and whose efforts have led to increasing the interest of young people in democracy and politics. Shri Rahul Karadji, dignitaries on the dais, my dear young friends. मैं आप सबसे एक प्रश्न पूछना चाहता हूँ भाषण से पहले। मैं भी ऐसे बहुत सारे कार्यक्रम में भाग लिया हूँ where the college has made mandatory for you to attend a program, and you would have participated in the program because the principal has told you, notice has come, and compulsory attendance के लिए बहुत सारे programs हम attend किए हैं. How many of you here in this auditorium have come here because your school or college has sent you here? How many of you here have come here out of choice because you're interested to come? How many of you have come? Answer with your hands raised. Out of compulsion because your college has sent you here. कोई है ऐसे? How many of you have come because you have chosen to come here? How many of you have come here with interest? अच्छा, बहुत बढ़िया. साथियों, बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जो दोनों में हाथ नहीं उठाए. I don't know whether you are interested or not interested, but मैं आपसे इतना ही बोलना चाहता हूँ. आज इस कार्यक्रम हम सब के लिए है, युवा के लिए है, युवा भारत के लिए है, और एक युवा मुख्यमंत्री ने इस कार्यक्रम को संगठित किए हैं युवा गोवा के लिए. इसलिए हम सब इसमें इंटरेस्ट लेके 10-15 मिनट तक मेरा वाणी और मुख्यमंत्री जी का वाणी हम थोड़ा कोशिश करेंगे सुनने के लिए. साथियों, भारत सबसे बड़ा और सबसे पुराना लोकतंत्र है. इंडिया इज द मदर ऑफ ऑल डेमोक्रेसीज ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. The idea of democracy, the idea of young people's participation, which is the theme of today's conference, is something that has been central to India's idea of the world and India's civilizational history. ऋग्वेद से लेकर कर्नाटक के जो बसवण्णा थे, जो अनुभव मंडप का स्थापना किया था, या बिहार के लिच्छवी गणराज्य का उल्लेख जो इतिहास के पुस्तक में होते हैं. If we look at all of this, you will know that democracy and democratic tradition is as old as millennia in Bharat. It is a matter of great pride for all of us that our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, went to the United Nations General Assembly and very vehemently and rightly told the leaders of the world that it is Bharat that is the mother of democracy, and all of us must have great and immense respect that we come from such a great land. साथियों, डेमोक्रेसी का मतलब क्या है? आज राहुल जी ने मुझे बताया था, मुख्यमंत्री जी ने जो चिट्ठी लिखा था उसमें यूथ पार्टिसिपेशन इन डेमोक्रेसी, इसके बारे में कुछ बिंदु रखने के लिए उनका अपेक्षा था। डेमोक्रेसी का मानना क्या होता है? डेमोक्रेसी मतलब क्या होता है? व्हाट इज एसेंशियली डेमोक्रेसी? I want to ask all of you, how many of you here feel that many things in the world is already destined by fate? जो भी हमारे जीवन है, परिस्थिति है, प्रकृति है, ये सब विधि के अनुसार ऑलरेडी निश्चय हो चुका है। ऐसे कितने लोग आप मानते हैं? अरे कुछ उत्तर तो दो भाई। How many of you, can you raise your hands? How many of you feel that you are the makers of your destiny? How many of you feel that you have the power in you to decide how you want to shape your life? इलेक्शन में आप सबके पार्टिसिपेशन देख के मुझे लग रहा है आप बीजेपी को भी वोट नहीं दे रहे, कांग्रेस को भी वोट नहीं दे रहे, आप नोटा को वोट दे रहे ज्यादा। पार्टिसिपेट कीजिए भाई कार्यक्रम में। अच्छा, हाथ उठा के आप उत्तर दीजिए, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू फील दैट यू आर द मेकर्स ऑफ योर ओन डेस्टिनी? ग्रेट, थोड़ा पार्टिसिपेशन बढ़ चुका है। हम सब राजनीतिक लोग हैं यार, इलेक्शन आने वाले हैं, इलेक्शन में पोल परसेंटेज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है। एंड वेन एवर देर इज अ ग्रेटर पोल परसेंटेज, द भारतीय जनता पार्टी ऑलवेज विन्स, विच इज वाई आई एम आस्किंग ऑल ऑफ यू टू पार्टिसिपेट एक्सटेंसिवली। Democracy essentially, my dear friends, is the belief that collectively we can together form and craft our own destiny. That we are not resigned to the fact that some fate or some god or some energy has already decided everything for us. Democracy essentially means that we are the masters of our own craft. We are the masters of our own destiny. This essentially is what democracy is. We have the choice to choose who should lead us. We have the choice to choose what we should do. We have the choice to choose the kind of institutions that we want to create. Therefore, democracy essentially means a platform which we have created by our own will to craft our own destinies. Which is why all of us have to be that much more responsible when we are part of a democracy. Which is why participation in a democracy is extremely essential. आज जब इस कार्यक्रम का इंट्रोडक्शन हो रहा था, पहले एक स्पीकर ने उल्लेख किया कि देश में युवाओं का पार्टिसिपेशन राजनीति में, डेमोक्रेसी में, पॉलिटिक्स में बहुत कम होते हैं। इसलिए राहुल जी ने ऐसे एक प्रयास किया युवाओं को पॉलिटिक्स को और पॉलिटिक्स में और ज्यादा एक्सपोज करने के लिए। आई कंग्रेचुलेट राहुल जी फॉर दिस वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एक्टिविटी, बट एट द सेम टाइम आई ऑल्सो वॉन्ट टू स्पेंड अ मिनट टू एनालाइज as to why for a very long time a lot of young people in India felt very disconnected and disenchanted from politics. आप सोचिए 2014 के पहले आप भारत के पॉलिटिकल मैप को आप अंदाज करिए, अनुमान कीजिए आपके मन में। कश्मीर से लेकर आप कन्याकुमारी तक भारत के जो पॉलिटिकल मैप है, आप एक बार आपके आंख में आप सोचिए, इमेजिन करिए। What was the nature of India's politics and political parties? From Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, almost every state, every political party was run by a family or one or two family members. The Omar Abdullah family in Jammu Kashmir, the Yadavs in Uttar Pradesh, the Lalu and his family in Bihar, Karunanidhi and his family in Tamil Nadu, YSR and his family in Andhra and undivided Andhra Pradesh, Devegowda and his family in Karnataka, Pawar and his family in Maharashtra. If you look at India's political map, you will find that India's democracy was strangled. India's democracy was in the kabja of a few political families which were run not as political parties but as private limited companies. The democracy, the definition of democracy itself was changed. What did we learn in school? Democracy, we learned, was a system of governance by the people, for the people, of the people. But what we witnessed before 2014 was a very skewed version of India's democracy, where democracy was of the family, by the family, for the family. This was the skewed definition of democracy in India 2014 se pehle. When this is the case, why will young people be interested to join politics? How can young people even dream of joining politics when contesting an election is an extremely exorbitantly expensive affair? When political parties will not respect you for your talent, when political parties will not give you opportunities because you do not belong to their family. But my dear friends, 2014 ke baad, there is some kind of a democratic revival that has taken place in India, because in 2014, Narendra Modi ji proved to India and proved to the world that democracy is not merely an idea in the constitution, but it is a living principle in Bharat, when he proved to the world that a chai wala can rise to become the Prime Minister of India. (2014) in many aspects, my dear friends, has marked the revival and the rebirth of democracy in India. And what is happening since then is a strengthening of democracy at all levels. आज आप देखिए स्टेज में हमारे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी हैं. वो बहुत सामान्य परिवार से आते हैं. And his growth as a Samanya Karyakarta of the Bharatiya Janata Party to becoming the Chief Minister of the state of Goa, it has been through his sheer hard work, through his sheer merit, and through his talent, and to the people of the Goa. More and more examples like this all across the country will only further strengthen democracy. मैं एक बीजेपी के कार्यक्रम में, युवा मोर्चा के कार्यक्रम में कुछ दिन पहले मैं जब गोवा में आया था, और एक बार मैं इसी विचार को मैं उल्लेख किया था. Why do we need young leaders like Sawant ji to succeed? We need young leaders like Sawant ji to succeed, because if he succeeds, there will be more and more self-made young leaders who will get an opportunity all across the country, which is why he must succeed. Friends, when I was given an opportunity to contest elections in 2019, thanks to the blessings of the Prime Minister and our party, I was all of 28 years old. I do not come from a political family. My father is not the Chief Minister of a particular state. But the party placed faith in the fact that a 28-year-old young man can lead. And the party and the Prime Minister reposed faith in the idea that youth can lead. The Prime Minister's vision today is that young of India are not leaders of tomorrow. The Prime Minister of India today believes that leaders of young people of today are leaders of today, and which is why he is investing in young leaders all across the country. Why do we need to invest? Why do we need to engage in politics? I know that my time bell has already rung. I will take just a couple of more minutes to press home this very important point. There is a very interesting quote, my dear friends, that I read somewhere. We may choose to not participate or involve in politics. We may choose to not involve or participate in politics, but we do not have the choice to not get affected by the outcome of politics. Which is why we need to involve ourselves in politics. What does it mean? I'm not asking all of you to either start becoming members of the Bharatiya Janata Party tomorrow, or go and become members of any other political party. This is not what I am asking you. But what I am asking you is to stay invested in democracy as a principle and understand that all of you are important stakeholders in the success of the governments that we elect. आप में से कितने लोग स्टॉक मार्केट जानते हैं और स्टॉक मार्केट में कुछ ना कुछ इन्वेस्टमेंट आप लोग किए हैं? इन्वेस्टमेंट किए आप लोग? स्टूडेंट्स भी? बहुत अच्छा लगा, 2-3 हाथ ऊपर है, पर दैट्स अ वेरी गुड थिंग. मान लो आप एशियन पेंट्स का या रिलायंस का आप एक स्टॉक खरीद लेते हैं. आप स्टॉक खरीदने के बाद आप क्या करते हैं? आप रोज न्यूज़पेपर में या मोबाइल के ऐप में आप रोज मॉनिटरिंग करते हैं नहीं करते? That how did Asian Paints do today? How did Reliance do today? How did this particular company do today? आप क्यों करते हैं? Because you have put your money in that company's shares, and the success of that company will determine how your share will perform, how your investment will perform. वैसे ही आप जब 5 साल में एक बार आप वोट डालते हैं, आप आपके सरकार में एक इन्वेस्टमेंट की नाते आपके शेयर आप खरीद रहे हैं. सो द सक्सेस ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट विल डिपेंड on how actively you are a stakeholder of this democratic system, which is why it is extremely important for young people to stay invested in the processes of the government, processes of politics, processes of democracy, because democracy at the end means you and I choosing our own future. If you and I are not concerned about our future, who else will be, my dear friends? Which is why platforms like this, which Rahul ji and MIT SOG have created, is so essential to strengthening democracy in this country. And I once again congratulate Rahul ji for this very, very important initiative that he has taken. Sathiyo, many times you will understand, you may even ask, does democracy work? Do governments really work? Does my one vote make any difference? क्या मेरे एक वोट से कुछ चेंज हो सकता है जीवन में, विश्व में, सरकार में? मेरा एक वोट बहुत कमजोर हो सकता है, या इससे क्या फायदा हो सकता है सरकार के लिए, जनजीवन के लिए, देश के लिए? बट डू नॉट फॉरगेट, माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, दैट इट वाज one vote of yours in 2014 and in 2019 that ensured that Bharat got a full majority government at the center led by Prime Minister Modi. One vote of yours which ensured that a problem like Article 370, which could not be addressed in the last 70 years, could be addressed. If Kashmir is completely constitutionally integrated with India, it is because of your vote in 2014, your vote in 2019. If today Bharat has solved a 500-year-old problem and ensured that a Bhavya Ram Mandir will come up in Ayodhya, it is because you voted in 2014, 2019 and gave a full majority government. It was because of one vote of yours that India witnessed a digital revolution, where today the UPI payments that happen in India has far exceeded what happens even in China and other developed countries in the world. It is because of one vote of yours that in the last 6-7 years, Modi Sarkar has been able to elevate and take out of poverty the greatest number of Indians. All of this happened because of one vote of yours. So my request to all of you is very simple. Please stay invested in the system of democracy, because we have given upon ourselves this very important system. And if, as young people, if we do not stay involved, do not take the leadership, then who else will? For how long can we sit and complain? It is time for action. It is time for us to lead. Do not be cynical about India's democracy, my dear friends. Many a times people keep complaining. Elections के समय में पैसा बांट देते हैं, ये होते हैं, वो होते हैं, सरकार राजनीति गंदा है. हो सकता है, पर कौन इसको क्लीन कर सकता है? Somebody has to come forward and take the charge and clean this entire setup. At the same time, I want to tell all of you not to lose hope, not to be cynical of India's democracy. मैं आपको एक छोटा सा कहानी बताता हूं जो वास्तव में मेरे कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में हुआ था कुछ साल पहले। आप सब जानते ही है इलेक्शन के समय कैसे हर एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी किसी ना किसी प्रकार के सर्कस करते रहते हैं इलेक्शंस में लोग के पास जाने के लिए। मेरे कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में कर्नाटक में आप सब जानते ही है 3 इंपॉर्टेंट पार्टीज है, बीजेपी है, कांग्रेस है और जनता दल है। 3 पार्टीज है। It is anyway you can change the names of any parties. It is a simple example which will hold all universal all across the country. Election समय आ गया। 3 पार्टी के जो नेता थे, कैंडिडेट्स थे, तीनों बहुत कोशिश कर रहे थे सब लोगों को पार्टी के सामने, पार्टी के प्रति इम्प्रेस करने के लिए। सो कांग्रेस का एक नेता डिसाइड किया सब लोगों को मैं शिरडी भेज देता हूं यात्रा के लिए, तीर्थ यात्रा के लिए। मेरे कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में जो भी सीनियर लोग हैं मैं सब लोगों को शिरडी भेज देता हूं। सो उन्होंने एक बस हायर किया, व्यवस्था किया, सब लोगों को बेंगलोर से शिरडी लेकर गया। शिरडी में बहुत बड़ा दर्शन वर्शन सब व्यवस्था करके वो लोग वापस लेकर आए। There was a very old woman who was selling coconuts. नारियल पानी जो होते टेंडर कोकोनट, शी वॉज सेलिंग इट। मैं तब सांसद नहीं था, 5-6 साल से 6 पुरानी बात है। उन्होंने शिरडी यात्रा समाप्त करके आई थी। मैं जाकर उनसे पूछा क्या हुआ, कैसा था। उन्होंने बताया अरे बहुत बड़ी यात्रा थी, अच्छा व्यवस्था हुआ था। मैं गया शिरडी में, अत्यंत बहुत बेहतर दर्शन हुआ और मैं दर्शन समाप्त करके आने समय एक प्रण करना था। वी हैड टू टेक एन ओथ दैट हम कांग्रेस के जो कैंडिडेट इसका ऑर्गेनाइज किया था उनको ही हम वोट देना पड़ेगा। ऐसे हम एक ओथ लेना था, प्रण लेना था। मैं वोट लेके वापस आया। मैं बोला अच्छा ठीक है। 3-4 दिन के बाद हमारे जनता दल के जो प्रत्याशी थे उन्हें भी एक तीर्थ यात्रा ऑर्गेनाइज किया था और दिस सेम लेडी वेंट टू दैट तीर्थ यात्रा ऑल्सो। एंड मैं उनसे पूछा अरे जी आप शिरडी भी गए थे, आप अभी धर्मस्थला भी जा रहे हैं, क्या हुआ? So she said, no, I went to Dharmasthala, I had a very good darshan, and then even then there was a promise that was made that I will vote only for the Janata Dal candidate. मुझे तो हैरान हो गया, अरे शिरडी में भी एक प्रॉमिस हुआ है, धर्मस्थला में भी प्रॉमिस हुआ है, एक इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट भी था। वो देखा ये 2 पार्टियां ऐसे ऑर्गेनाइज किया है, मैं भी करूंगा। उन्होंने तिरुपति को एक डेलीगेट मतलब एक तीर्थ यात्रा ऑर्गेनाइज किया। 3-4 दिन के बाद में देखा दिस लेडी हैज गॉन टू तिरुपति ऑल्सो। बाद में मैं थोड़ा कंफ्यूज हो गया, यार ये सीरियस बात है, शिरडी है, साई बाबा, धर्मस्थला मंजुनाथा एंड तिरुपति, सब वेरी पावरफुल गॉड्स, ये बेचारी जा रही है एंड शी इज प्रॉमिसिंग एवरीवेयर दैट आई विल वोट फॉर देम। मैं सीरियसली जाके उनसे पूछा, मैडम दिस इज अ वेरी सीरियस इश्यू, हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू टैकल दिस? यू डोंट हैव टू मतलब अर्न द रैथ ऑफ दीज गॉड्स, व्हाट विल यू डू? उन्होंने इमीडिएटली एक उत्तर दिया, अरे नहीं, मैं जब गया हूं तीनों जगह पे, आई हैव पुट 5 रुपीज एक्स्ट्रा कानिका इन ऑल ऑफ दीज टेम्पल्स, क्योंकि मैं जानता हूं कि जो बीजेपी का आदमी है ना वो अच्छा आदमी है, ये लोग मुझे तीर्थ यात्रा ऑर्गेनाइज कर रहे हैं, मैं जा रहा हूं तीर्थ यात्रा पे, मैं वोट करूंगा जो अच्छा आदमी है उनके लिए। This shows the maturity of the common Indian voter. In the same sense, my dear friends, I can only assure you and tell you that India's electorate is a very mature electorate. They understand that those who sincerely aspire to serve the people, they will always be given a chance. In you, I see a bright future for India. In you, I see young and strong leaders coming from tomorrow who will guide India. Goa is known as a place which is small in geography, but which has given the tallest of leaders like Manohar Parrikar ji to the country, and this will be the legacy of Goa. I request all of you to If you have not enrolled yourself in the voter list, this is the time for all of you to enroll yourself as voters. Because when you go and vote in an election, that is the opportunity for you to express your voice for a better future, for yourself, for your state, and for the nation. So if you have not registered yourself as voters, please go and register as voters. 2, please understand that it is extremely essential to vote when it comes to the time of elections. It is important that every single vote counts. Every single vote will determine the nature of politics in the country, the culture that will be propagated in the country, and the kind of integrity of institutions in the country. This, my dear friends, is an essential responsibility that as young people, all of us must fulfill. I am very confident that under the young and dynamic leadership of the Honorable Chief Minister, Goa will open new chapters of development, new chapters of writing a new and glorious and prosperous future for the young people of Goa. And I am very, very sure of all of your extensive support to the Chief Minister and his leadership. I once again thank Rahul ji and the Honorable Chief Minister for giving me this wonderful opportunity to talk to all of you. Democracy is our creation, and it is up to us to ensure that it will deliver and that it will succeed. With a lot of hope in all of you and seeing a lot of bright future for all of you, I thank all of you for giving me a very patient hearing. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. भारत माता की जय. भारत माता की जय. Thank you.